Shut up and sit down.
I am a radical libertarian.
And we don't want the government to do a damn thing.
Current state of politics is unsustainable, politically, economically.
You deserve better.
It is about supporting, platforming, and assisting the people who are out here actually doing the fight.
You just take an issue that's important to you and do something.
There you go.
You are part of that declaration against tyranny.
Because no one brings tear gas to a gunfight.
This conversation gives me a little more hope for the future.
The one, the only
Fight for Liberty. This is the cherry on top.
This is FSM.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fight for Liberty show. I am super excited for the show tonight. We have probably one of the most highest recommended and highest regarded guests I've ever gotten to have on the show. Comes recommended from most of the other guests that I've had on that know him. Super excited to introduce him to you guys. But first, as always, we're going to give a little bit of love to our sponsors. First up is Proud Libertarian, and you can be a proud libertarian and get all of the best liberty swag in one place. You can find hats, t-shirts, books, yard signs, bumper stickers, and so much more over at proudlibertarian.com. If you need this is last week's script, but if you need a last minute gift for another holiday that's coming up, or to piss off your statist friend at like a Valentine's Day party or something, then we've got you covered at Proud Libertarian. Click the link in the description or go to proudlibertarian.com. Use promo code FreeSpeechCorp. And that will get you 10% off your first order. Again, that's proudlibertarian.com, promo code FreeSpeechCorp. And we are also sponsored on this episode by Zoom. Go beyond shrooms with Zoom. From Advanced Mycology, the makers of the Shroom and Mycadelic grow bags, comes a clean, safe, legal, and pure tablet designed for meaningful experiences. Pitocin is a natural psilocybin analog that provides a shorter, clearer trip with the same euphoric, groundbreaking effects. Most importantly, it is completely legal. So you can go on over to zoomtrip.com. That's XUMTRIP.com to learn more about Pitocin, the dosages, and shipping info. And I cannot recommend these enough. These people are some of the greatest that I work with and just some of the most genuine people that I've gotten to interact with in this movement. They test every batch for quality assurance for their customers, and you can get a nice tester pack of 4 for just $20. So go on over to advancedmyco.com. That's advancedmyco.com to order yours today. Use promo code FSM to get that $5 off your first order. Again, that is advancedmyco.com. And go check them out. And of course, as always, we are supported by the awesome viewers. So if you guys are watching on Rumble, you can send a tip. If you are watching on YouTube, you can also support on there. X, I believe we have finally set up, or you can go to the website and donate. We really appreciate all of the viewer donations and support that we get. But without further ado, as I said, we have an awesome guest for you guys tonight. He is the Director of Operations for You Are the Power, the one and only Mr. Ryan Ralston. Welcome to the show.
Man, thank you, David. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for having me on, brother. Appreciate
it. My pleasure. And honestly, I mean it. There are few people that I've gotten to bring on here that have come as highly recommended as you. Spike took like 7 minutes of our episode last month going on. He loves having you on the team, and it's been great to watch the team grow and succeed since you've joined it. So thanks for everything you do.
Man, thank you for having me on. It's always nice to be recognized by your boss. So that's a good way to start the show too. So
right. So let's just dive in with something fairly simple, just kind of a testimonial. Okay. What made you want to dive into the fight for liberty and get involved like this?
Man, my journey from, let's say, there to here is unconventional. So what I mean by that, David, is I didn't start off, really within the political sphere. Like it's just something that was kind of outside my purview for such a long time. And the more that I began to read, or the more that I began to just kind of get plugged into the reform community, and what I mean by that would just be like the criminal legal reform community, the more I realized that there needed to be a more rational discussion about some of these issues. And I'm low key, David. Like I truthfully am. I'm low key. Like I kind of keep to myself, a bit of a homebody. But man, when I started really kind of just diving into and looking at some of the history of the criminal legal system, specifically in Georgia, I got to the point where I had to speak up. I just absolutely had to do it. And I started off just volunteering with various law firms, and then just kind of doing investigations for them, working on cases pro bono, which I still do. I still volunteer my time. Mm-hmm. And what led me to You Are the Power in particular was meeting Spike at a mutual friend's house here in Atlanta many moons ago. And then just really kind of was drawn into just him as an individual, right? Because I mean, what you see with Spike is what you get, whether it's online or in person. He's Spike Cohen. And I was picked up that as genuine. I was like, man, let me find out a little bit more about this organization, You Are the Power. It's new. What do I need to do? And I started following the organization, following the work. And I get a phone call. It's kind of funny, man. I get a phone call from the mutual friend. We're at the party. I get a phone call from her, and she's like, hey, Ryan, there's this organization, you might know of them, but they're working on this case in Mississippi. It involves this young black father. We think he may have been murdered. And then there's these allegations of corrupt law enforcement and just racism. And, how would you approach this investigation? So, I kind of asked a little bit more information about it. And the attorney friend and I just kind of went back and forth. And finally she's like, hey, look, it's for You Are the Power. I'm just going to connect you with Spike. You guys should just start talking about this, because I mean he likes the ideas that you're throwing out there. So I get on the phone with Spike, and he's like, hey man, this is what we got going on. I really think we should do this. And my response to him was, this is not a good idea. Like, I don't think we should do this. And he's like, no, we're going to do this. And I was like, Spike, I'm telling you, man, this is going to be difficult. We're 13, 14 months behind the 8 ball. You're talking about putting a team together for folks clear across the country. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I think we should do this. And I was like, all right, well, if you're sincere about it, I'll come up with a plan. And he's like, no, I want you to lead the team. And I was like, hold on 1 second, Spike. Like, this is, I'm in Georgia. Like, this is happening in Mississippi. So it was really Spike's tenacity, really, and his determined to do something that was challenging, that really drove me to say yes. And I've been with the organization ever since. And that was, 2.5, 3 years ago.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll skip right to that question, because my third one is, how has the organization changed in the 3 years since you joined? Yeah, so like most people that are on the core team, or that help manage the organization, we all started off as volunteers. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I like that case in Mississippi where we're in the process of wrapping up right now. And I was just a volunteer. I wasn't involved in leadership within the organization or anything like that. I just was passionate about this case, passionate about You Are the Power. And so I just started volunteering in the organization, doing that, gave up my time freely. And, got back to Georgia and talked to Jason Lyon, as a matter of fact, our former volunteer director. And I was like, hey, brother, you got anybody kind of managing and organizing in Georgia? And he's like, no. Why, are you interested? And I was like, absolutely, like, sign me up. So the ball just, started rolling from there. But, at the time that was 2.5, 3 years ago. So at that time, David, we were still figuring things out, right? We were a new nonprofit. We're figuring out our place in this environment, figuring out, what works, what doesn't work. And so we've gone from there, taking on maybe, I don't know, let's say 100 requests for assistance per year at that point, 2023 timeframe. And here we are staring down 2026 with anticipating 1,500 requests from assistance, across the country. So it's been, in a relatively short amount of time, I think we've made a significant leap forward as an organization. And now, I mean, we had a staff meeting on Monday, and our executive director, she made the comment, it may have been this Monday or the previous Monday, she's like, something to the effect of, we're in the big leagues now. And it kind of dawned on me, like, what, she's right. Because, taking a look back where we were when we first started off to where we are now,
it's like night and day. We're a completely different organization, and that's just testament to the team, brother. Like, we're just an absolute a powerhouse of a team, and we treat each other like family, and that's really kind of the secret to our success.
Hell yeah! Quick shout out to Myra, because she is fantastic.
She really is. She really is.
Yeah, I remember when you first came on the team, I was still New York State.
That's right. That's right.
You had to come in and just show up all the other state coordinators.
I think, was it? Hold on, let me say. Tom was the regional organizer up north, and I was down south. And Tom had made this funny comment. He's like, "All right, now we're ready for Civil War. The North's going to outperform the South. That kind of thing." Which is, man, I love that kind of stuff. That camaraderie and that just you're doing it for the cause, and that's what instantly drew me to the organization.
Yeah. I think one team definitely won that Civil War.
Well, it's man, we're I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm just going to say that I'm just going to say that it was a hard fought battle. That's exactly where we're at.
Oh man, and yeah, I ended up moving shortly thereafter, so I stepped down from my position and didn't get to see. Well, I love getting to watch and help out where I can still. The organization grow and keep in touch with Brian and Spike and everybody, and see all of these causes and all these things that you guys are doing.
Yeah,
it really is incredible. Just the scaling that has happened over those last 2 years. Yeah. What are some of the causes that have stood out to you that you've got to work on?
Really, for me, not just because some of these causes originated in Georgia, but some of these causes were just so complex to investigate. And I'll back up and explain that. So when I came on board as the state organizer in Georgia, because that's really where I got started, Jason and his team were already working on the Hernandez case, which is a Child Protective Services case in Georgia. And Jason invited me to get plugged in and just, kind of get involved with that team. And by this point, David, they were probably 50 to 100 hours into the vetting process. So I was a bit of an outsider, and admittedly so. And so I didn't want to come in there, and step on toes. So I just kind of sat back and observed, and I was like, man, this is such an impressive team. This team in Georgia and Jason, everything he's got put together is just absolutely fantastic. And, we really started deep diving into some of these Child Protective Services issues. And we just found out that how complex they were, right? So we ended up, like on this one case, we ended up vetting it, like the Hernandez case. It was like 400 plus hours before we were able to successfully launch it and get it into the public domain. And so to me, that was really my first foray into the procedures and what it means to be a You Are the Power advocate. And so Jason took me under his wing, which I'm incredibly grateful for, and just kind of, showed me the ropes. And then from there, we progressed from like just one case to the next. It's like organically things just fell into place. Like it was not of our control. And so, we would go from, let's say, a Child Protective Services case in Georgia to a case in Ohio where Nourish Our Neighbors, where a group of individuals are being targeted by local government for, feeding those in need or sheltering those in need. And so we would go from there, to Ohio, then maybe we go back to Georgia for a case. Then, maybe we go out to Texas or Arizona. So, I mean, we were kind of hopping across the country, but we were doing it in such a way that with each case, we were learning along the way. The team was learning along the way. And that was really special because everyone bonded, right? So, I mean, it went from just like this organization that would speak out against government overreach to this organization that was speaking out against government overreach and winning cases across the country. And so that was fantastic to see and be a part of.
Yeah, the win rate is I think the most just baffling.
Yeah,
how You Are the Power. Obviously, there's quite a few things that are very unique about it that make it my favorite organization in existence. But then you guys, like that existed in 2021, right? Like the organization, and then it came out, and I know you'll probably be too humble to admit this, but it seems when you started working more heavily with the organization is when that win rate, like where you draw the line, and it's just been 100% since.
Yeah. I'm not going to toot my own horn on that one, man, because it's absolutely a team effort all the way around. It's a team effort, and it's just we're blessed with the volunteers that we have, which I mean they're the heavy lifters for us, right? So, I mean, someone like myself, I'm just responsible for making sure that the right people are in the right place to execute, for what particular case, and so I'm just moving bodies around constantly doing that. And I can say this. Where I come from, I'm born and raised in the South. And so I was always told that if you did it, you're not bragging. You can talk about it because you're not bragging because you did this, right? So over the past 2+ years, our success rate is 98% or above, right? So, I mean, we're winning cases, but we're not only winning cases, but we're impacting lives and we're bringing about change in a way that I don't really think anyone could have properly articulated 2.5 years ago what we're doing. I mean, I don't know of many nonprofits that can say that work in this, this field. I don't know of that many nonprofits, maybe other than IJ, Institute for Justice, or maybe even the Southern Center for Human Rights, that has a 98% success rate. I mean, that's almost unheard of, especially, brother, I mean, you're battling in a government that has unlimited resources, right? I mean, they are going to turn their sights on you as soon as you say, hey, these are the identified bad actors, man. Those are the ones that are going to come after you. And it's just testament to the team. It's testament to our core values, our motto. I mean, we are truthfully a force to be reckoned with, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible thing to see move. One of the things I love doing on the show is getting to kind of peek behind the curtain at some of these things, and because people get to hear Spike talk all the time. He rarely stops talking, but getting to hear, I'm gonna continue to pester Myra too to try to come on the show eventually. But I want to hear a little bit about some of the more less glamorous things that happen behind the scenes as far as the how do you guys go about the vetting process of the causes now and kind of deciding where the energy goes?
Yeah. So when you were involved in the organization, David, as a state organizer, the way that we accepted cases or the way that cases were vetted or the way that we would find out about cases is probably different than what we were dealing with 2 or 3 years ago, right? So a lot of the times we would get tagged in social media posts like, hey, Spike, hey, you are the power, check this out, the government's doing bad things. And then we'd follow up on that. And so we've streamlined that process now. So anyone can go to our website. They can fill out a request for assistance form. It's just a real basic application. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to do it. Those are forwarded to myself or to our volunteer director, Victoria Lawhorn. And then from there, we send them out to one or two areas. So if it's a family policing case, it goes to our family unification program. Everything else goes to our cause coordinator, who's Elizabeth Melton. But the vetting process is what I'm probably the most proud of right now within the organization, because it allows us to achieve that 98% plus success rate because we are so thorough in our vetting. So. Basically what we do is when someone reaches out to us and they say, hey, I need some help, I'm the victim of government overreach. Once we determine that they've met our minimum cause acceptance criteria, that's where the team really gets to work. So we start from the complaint and then we kind of work ourselves forward and backwards at the same time, right? So someone says, hey, I'm the victim of government overreach. This is what's happened to me. I need your help. And then we'll say, okay, let's schedule an interview. Let's talk to you. Let's see what's really at the heart of this issue. And honestly, we say, like, what is it that you want from us? Like, how can we help you? And then we tailor our response and we tailor our client work based on the needs of that client, right? So if they say, I'm facing my business being shut down, local ordinances are negatively impacting me, I'm facing criminal charges. So we work the case up from there. And so we might request applicable documentation, like, copies of a local ordinance that, someone believes to be unconstitutional. We request copies of police reports. We might request a Superior Court case documents, Circuit Court case documents. We file open records requests. So basically anything that the state is going to use to potentially prosecute one of our clients if there are criminal charges, we get copies of that, and then we work the case from start to finish. So we basically take on the role of a public defender or criminal defense attorney, and we work the case from there. And then we tailor our messaging based on the facts of the case. I mean, we're really big on touting factual innocence. And so, I mean, what we mean by that is it's not like legal innocence where a jury is going to acquit somebody because, the state failed to prove them guilty beyond reasonable doubt. We're saying our clients are blameless. No crime occurred, and we can prove it because we've got the evidence and we put in the work to do that. Yeah. So anytime you see us go live on our social media with one of our cases, we are 100% confident that our client is 100% factually innocent. And so I think that's kind of what sets us apart from other organizations and directly contributes to our high success rate.
I think it's a great way to do it just in general. I think it's fairly similar to how I handle interpersonal disputes, honestly.
Yeah.
I will only argue with you if I know that I'm right. If I think I'm right, I might spar for a few minutes and push back a little bit because I think a thing, but it'll never get to any sort of like an argumentative basis, and I won't stand firm on it unless I'm at least like 95% or more sure, like I actually know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, if I say something and you go, no, it's this other thing, but I only know that because of a social media post, I'm going to instantly fact check you or myself. I'm just going to assume you're right because you seem more sure of yourself than I am of my social media post I read. And I can argue about it. It's a healthy way to go about life, to really only publicly say, I know I'm right, if you know you're right.
There is a certain air of confidence, right? So if you know the truth is on your side, you can speak that truth with confidence and not arrogance, which is what we do. I mean, we're not arrogant in our work. We're not braggadocious. We're not, oh, look at us, what we've been able to accomplish. We tell our client story from a factual basis. We have the evidence to support what we're saying, and then we're prepared to defend that. And there are times where people might call to question, like, hey, what about this? What about that? But I assure you the team's already vetted that. We have the answers to those. So, before we go to Spike or Myra and say, hey, this is a case we're getting ready to launch, they know that the teams have done their jobs. So Spike can get on his social media post and share our stories, share the organization's stories with confidence and not arrogance that we are right, that our clients are 100% factually innocent.
So what is some of the things that go into, I think you called it the minimum case criteria or cost criteria?
Yeah, so I mean, it's real simple, right? We want everything to be local. We want to be able to identify a victim. Somebody might write to us or have previously written to us and said, I'm the victim of government overreach, or someone might say, hey, this person's a victim of government overreach, do something about it. Well, we want to tell our story from the client's perspective, which is different than what you see a lot of these other organizations do. We tell our story from the victim's perspective, right? But we also incorporate the governmental bad actors who are causing the harm. So we tell the story from two perspectives, and then we tell the story specifically from the client's perspective because it's client or people over the policy that has caused that harm. So we're not just saying, hey, government's bad, this law is bad, or this local ordinance is bad, or this government bad actor is doing awful things to other human beings. We identify a human being in that process. And we tell that human story. So everything's on a local level. We don't get involved in like national political issues or something like that. And really at the heart of our storytelling, that's what makes us equally as successful or more successful than other organizations, because we elicit that empathy from someone who may not know the first thing about our organization or our clients, but they can hop on one of our social media posts, one of our social media platforms, and read about our client and go, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, why in the world is happening to these people? What can I do to help? And so we approach it from that perspective. And then we have a social media reach of 150 plus million people. So we tell our client story with the understanding that there's going to be a call to action associated with that case, right? People are expecting a You Are the Power case to have a call for action, right? So they're wanting to know, hey, Ryan, hey, You Are the Power. Where's this email template that kind of email these bad government officials and say, stop doing what you're doing, right? So we elicit that empathy and we draw people in. And then last, man, and this is really what I consider to make the magic happen, is we identify an attainable solution to this issue, right? We're not just saying government is bad and they've harmed the people. We're saying government is bad, they've harmed the people, and this is how you solve this problem, not just for the individual that we're supporting, not just for our client, but for others in their community as well. And so that's really what we look for at the what we call the initial screening phase when we get a request for assistance. We're looking for that element on these cases, and once we're confident that we have that, then we'll start the vetting process. And again, depending on the cause type, it could take anywhere between 20 hours to 400 hours for us to investigate.
Mm-hmm. I think the way that you mentioned kind of telling the story from both sides.
Yeah.
I was just, as you were talking, kind of thinking through, it would be a fun little experiment to go and maybe have AI or something analyze, because Spike will do the, like, this is, I'm spacing on their first names, Hernandez,
yeah,
is the beginning of the post, and then it's that. But then he also has, like, this is, wow, I'm spacing on everybody's name right now. The sheriff dude is who I was going to say.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But and he kind of has those two posts that usually go out like a week apart from each other on the same cause. Just actually objectively, just saying it from both perspectives. Yeah. It'd be interesting to analyze the response difference to those two types of posts throughout multiple causes.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I readily acknowledge I don't know a whole lot about AI. Like I don't delve into that too terribly much. I've got like a spell checker on my computer. I don't know if that's AI or not, but it's
someday it will be.
But yeah, it works for us. Like it's so simplistic. It's so simple. It just works. And I've noticed other organizations that are operating within the criminal justice reform system or criminal legal reform system or family policing system are starting to emulate our work. And that's because it works. I mean, what we do. And the way we advocate for our clients from their perspective, we identify the violations of the principle of human respect, right? That's that is our foundational ideology, the principle of human respect. And so we identify within the narrative of these stories the violations of that principle of human respect that occurred, and those corrections that we talk about would be viewed through the lens of the principle of human respect, right? Like, government coercion is bad, government theft is bad, the use of violence is bad. So we highlight that in the stories, and we also highlight how the coercion, the theft, and the violence has diminished our clients' happiness, harmony, and prosperity.
Mm-hmm. I am such a fan of the human respect pledge.
Yes.
We talked about this a little bit when Spike was on.
Yeah.
And that was by far the most successful outreach thing I've been a part of since I was doing it in church. For those types of things.
Yeah.
Just the resounding positive response I got from friends, family, my apolitical friends, my far left, Marxist, communist, Leninist friends, my Trump MAGA friends, everyone. I didn't have a single person that actually responded to me. Obviously, I got left on red a bunch of times. Sure. I didn't have a single person that actually read the human respect pledge and went, nah, I don't want to sign that. That's stupid.
Yeah, it transcends politics, man. It really transcends a lot of things, right? And the divide right now, if you want to talk about the divide in the country and things of that nature, but if you look at the principle of human respect and what it stands for, what it means, it transcends all of that. And and you can connect with it on a personal level. It's not some type of philosophy that you're reading it and going, man, I'm not sure I understand this. What does this mean? You can connect with it right off the bat. It's common sense. And then the way that it is applied to solve these issues, it's astounding that more people at least don't approach their advocacy work from the principle of human perspective. Yeah. Because, I mean, it just simplifies it.
Well, so I think a lot of people who operate in the political or pseudo-political activist arena, wherever that may be, a lot of times there is a side that they're associated with, gun rights is right, most social issues. Criminal justice reform is typically left, except for on a few specific issues that can be very conservative coded. And a lot of them, they operate off of we know what to say to get instantly a third of the country pretty much on our side if they hear our message. And that's just what everybody does. That's had been the system for 20, 30 years now, pretty adamantly, where if you're the NRA, you go out and you talk about patriotism and you talk about all of these conservative talking points, and then you get all the conservative donors and membership and all of the lobbyists and legislators on your side. And it seemed easier, and I think it objectively is easier in the short term to just instantly get a third of the population by saying a couple of the right things. And nobody wanted to take a year saying something a little bit different that could get 90% of the population, because that would take too long. And you need donors, and you need to be able to pay your people, and we need to move the machine along. And nobody was willing to just stick it out and do that grind that Spike and the core original team did for a few years, honestly, before you or I got involved to really set that groundwork that we could build off of. Yeah,
you're right, David, and it's much easier to get that quick grab, that quick clip. And just get your message out super quick. And then, like you said, grab that 1/3 of the people, and they're going to follow you no matter what, because you've said the right things. Mm-hmm. But it's that intelligent, principled advocacy when you're like, hold on one second. I do hear what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. But let's have a conversation about that. And then that initial commonality is what you build off of, right? I'm not tearing anybody down during this work. So You Are the Power doesn't tear people down. We're not attacking ideas. We're not, we're looking at from the perspective of our client has been harmed. This is how our client's been harmed. And this is what you need to do to correct that. And that transcends politics. I'm 50 years old, and I'm looking back, I can look back 30 years and go, I probably fell for some of those things. Truthfully, I did. And now I'm 50 years old, and I'm a little older, a little wiser, and I can go, and what I'm doing right now, the work that You Are the Power does, number one, transcends all that. And number two, it does more good for our communities than being plugged into a system that is predicated on division.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a core aspect that helps people break through that is the localism of the work that we do. People are far less partisan the more local the issue goes. And a lot of people, most people, don't want corruption even in their own party. Your typical partisan person, or even somewhat apolitical person, might defend a Trump or a Biden, because to not is to question everything. But if your sheriff or your city councilor is doing something awful, you want them gone, regardless of their party or anything like that. So when you're bringing it to them like that, where it's not about these big important issues and whether or not abortion or Israel Palestine or any of that, it's about these people who are affecting your actual day-to-day life. And we're not trying to revolt against a town. Our goal isn't to surprise Arizona somewhere where just half the freaking elected officials resign. But it's typically only one or two people that are doing the thing, and we're just going after that. And it's really easy for a town to get behind, there's two bad actors in our local government. That doesn't crumble anybody's worldview.
No, it's easy to digest that. It's so easy to digest that, because if You Are the Power were to just consistently jump on social media and say government is bad, we're not solving any problem. We're not addressing the issue. People are probably going to get tired of hearing that, because people understand government does bad things, right? But if we get on our social media and say, hey, this one mother, this one father, this one grandparent, this one individual in this one town is being harmed by this particular policy because this particular government official is doing this action that's causing this harm. People can, that resonates with people because people can say, well, I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a grandparent. Why I would not want that done to me, nor would I want that done to my loved one. So that story resonates a lot easier than it would with just some big national political issue. And it's kind of what's kept us at the forefront of a lot of these conversations within the criminal legal system reform or within the reform community, is because we're attacking these issues, or we're addressing these issues one human being at a time. We're not trying to tackle groups or group of individuals. I mean, it's just one person at a time, one victory at a time in this state, or one victory at a time in this region of the country, and then that just cascades to another victory. It cascades to another victory. Next thing you know, you got this momentum that's taken us from the East Coast to the West Coast and back. And it's just those individual stories that we just continue to tell that resonate so well with our audience.
Yeah, I think you identified a really crucial dichotomy there, the difference between government is bad and government does bad things. Yeah. One is, both are true, in my opinion, and I'm sure in your opinion, and most of the people involved with You Are the Power, but only one of them is true in the minds of 99% of America. And it's, I think, a lot of times more libertarian-oriented organizations dig themselves in a hole by having government is bad as their key thing. It's government is bad and here's why, instead of here's why government is bad.
That's right.
Just flipping that around makes everything work so much better.
I mean, it does, because people can relate to that, Dave. You remember when you were a state organizer in New York, right? Our mission, organizational mission, was to spread and act on the principle of human respect, right? I mean, it's our foundational ideology. So that was our mission. And if you look at our mission statement now, it has changed. And I'll give you an example. So our mission statement now is, we're going to protect individuals and families from local government abuse, using the power of social media to tell their story, demand local officials treat them with respect, and ensure permanent change so this abuse cannot happen again. So if you listen to that, right? If you listen to that, you're like, I can get behind that, right? They're not just throwing a bunch of divisive rhetoric out there. They're not saying government is bad and they do bad things. They're saying, wait a second, we're individuals and families are being harmed by local government, and there's a solution to this. I want to know more about where You Are the Power. Like, what are they talking about? And so, because we are apolitical, right? We're not a political affiliation. We're a nonprofit 501c3. And so our work doesn't take us into the political spectrum. And I'll give you an example. We used to get requests for assistance consistently, David, it would start off with, I'm a libertarian, please help me. Or or I voted for Spike, or, and I get it. I mean, and that was how we got our feet wet as an organization, right? Because people looked up to Spike, they respect Spike, they wanted to become part of that organization, and then they also looked to Spike for these answers, because these are the things he talked about on the campaign trail. Yeah. And so when he was done campaigning, and he was Spike Cohen, the husband, and Spike Cohen, I'm going to found this organization and get it going. He was very clear. He made it very clear to everyone that, number one, this was apolitical, and we're going to grow this organization in that manner. And so, over the past 2 years, I'd be very hard pressed to go back and look at my emails where a request for assistance came in that said, hey, I'm a libertarian, please help me. So we've transcended the politics. We've transcended that political divide. We're going to help you regardless of your political affiliation, your political association, if you are the victim of government overreach, right? I'll give you an example. We've helped clients. We've worked with clients who told us during interviews, I'm a communist, I'm a socialist, but I need help. And we were like, okay, I got you. We're going to help you, brothers and sisters, because just the government doing some bad things to you. So there's this tide that's turned within the organization, if you will, that people are recognize us as the go-to organization to help people when they're being harmed by the government, regardless of who they are, right? I mean, we just, and that's to me, that's a testament to our mission. That's a testament to the organization, the leadership, and things of that nature. But it's also a testament to how the principle of human respect works, right? So we're going to apply the principle of human respect in every single thing that we do. Every single decision, every single thing we do for our clients is based on that. So it affords us the opportunity to not get involved in that divisive rhetoric. It affords us opportunity to see people for what they are, not for what someone tells us that they are, right?
Yeah.
Someone says, well, why are you helping these people? They're a Democrat. Why are you helping these people? They're Republican. Why are you helping these people? They're socialists. Because they're human beings and they need help, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the short answer. So, I mean, it works. And again, I think it's testament to the team.
Yeah, it is also the best way to outreach to people, even if I don't want to get you guys in too much trouble with this hypothetical, but like if hypothetically this was some secret concoction from a bunch of LP official, like hard libertarians, like big L libertarians, to spread libertarianism,
right.
Specifically, and get more like voters into the party, like the thing that you objectively are not and legally can't be. Even if that was the goal, which most of your critics seem to think it is, or should be, this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
This is the best way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you put your money where your mouth is, and then you just keep marching forward, right? You don't, I mean, there's chatter to the sides always. There's always chatter when you're doing something right? There's going to be detractors. There's going to be people that are going to say, well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why aren't you doing this? Why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just, you hear that noise and you recognize that noise and you understand it for what it is, but you don't deviate from the mission. You don't deviate from the plan. You don't deviate from your goals, your core values. You just keep marching forward. And what that does is it sets the standard, and you just invite other people to follow you, and it works.
Yeah. And if you're interacting with somebody who is a socialist, who probably thinks of libertarians as like Randian, like capitalist, big hats and monocles and all about money, right?
Yeah.
If you go, oh, well, we're not going to help you because you're a socialist, because it doesn't benefit us.
Right.
All you're doing is proving them right. Instantly, they now are reinforced in their beliefs that we're horrible people, and in their case, they're kind of right. If we were to do that, where you help them, then they're forced to come to terms with the fact that a capitalist helped them for free.
Yeah, and we offer resources, right? And say, for instance, we are not the organization that's going to be able to help someone. We connect a potential client or an applicant with organizations who would be a better fit for them. So it's not that we would decline somebody if they don't meet our cause acceptance criteria and they're declined. We still try to offer resources for them. Now, we can't do it in every case because some of these are criminal matters that they're just going to have an attorney to work their way through the system on. Mm-hmm. But we pride ourselves in that, and we want to. And I can probably count on one hand the number of client interviews that I've been involved with over the past couple of years where someone asked, like, hey, what type of political affiliation is this organization anyways? It just doesn't happen anymore. So, it just doesn't. Like, a lot of people, and I've gone to conferences across the country and spoke on behalf of the organization. And I say, well, Spike Cohen is our founder and president. And they just kind of look at me and they're like, who? And that's great. Like, because we are reaching an audience who doesn't know fully about who we are, who founded the organization, but they're drawn to us because of the work that we are doing. So we're doing something right. And I joke around with Spike, if we have to go to an event together, whatever the case may be, or he's like, hey, Ryan, go, speak here or whatever. And, he's like, well, you don't have to mention my name. And I always do. I always mention Spike's name. And I was at a conference in Tennessee last year with Myra, as a matter of fact. And we were speaking about, child welfare. It's on a panel. And Brian was there. And, people did not know our organization. They just simply didn't know who we were. We were kind of an outsider at this conference, truthfully. But after the panel discussion, and we had people almost lined up outside the door to find out more about the organization, just based on our core values, right? Just based on the things that we were saying, it resonated with an audience who was about as polar opposite from what you would expect a You Are the Power audience to be. And that was fantastic to me. I loved it. Not just because I was part of the panel discussion. I loved it because I watched people's genuine reaction to the things that we had to say, and you could instantly see that the switch flip and go, oh man, I like this stuff. And it's kind of that word of mouth that's really propelled us to the level that we're at now. And it's a matter of just one victory at a time, man. Just one small victory at a time, one victory at a time in this state, and just listening to that chatter and just moving forward.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of the just small anecdote as far as Spike being well known, but also sometimes not. I was in Austin with Spike a few years ago for South by Southwest, and I broke off from the group to go hang out with a friend of mine who was working the festival, and we got to talking about why I was in town because this was before I moved to Texas, and I said that I was there working with Spike Cohen. And she didn't realize he was a real person. She was like, I thought he was just like an internet meme thing that just harasses. She thought it was like a Dread Pirate Roberts kind of idea of just this thing that goes and harasses tyrannical governments and shitty people online. Yeah. But the thing is, she still got the mission. She was like, he's the guy that bullies bad government officials.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yep, there we go. That's him.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's cool to get that name recognition, right? But it's equally cool to not have that name recognition and go somewhere and have people go, man, you guys are doing some fantastic work. How can I get plugged in? How can I get involved? And that's how we built this network over the past 2.5 years. Is Myra and I have conversations frequently about, hey, where would you like to expand this organization? Where do we need to go in 2026, 2025, whatever? And we go to places that are going to make us uncomfortable to be there and speak. Like, we intentionally seek those places out, and we go there because we want to break down those barriers. Like, we want to introduce people that our audience that perhaps never heard of us or might even have heard of us and don't want anything to do with us. I want to go there. That's where I want to be, and that's who I want to talk to. Because I promise you, at the end of a conference, a conversation, whatever the case may be, we're going to find common ground, right? I mean, our message is not confrontational in the sense that we're repelling people away from the organization. I mean, we've doubled our membership numbers in 2 years. Yeah. So, I mean, it's resonating with people, and it's that word of mouth, and it's not being afraid to go and knock on doors or go to places where we might feel unwelcome or feel uncomfortable. And Myra's been fantastic about that. If she says like, hey, Ryan, you sure you want to go here? And I'm like, yep, that's exactly where I need to be. And we get that opportunity.
It would be kind of fun to speak at like police union conferences or things like that.
Well, funny you should say that. So we have partnered up, on causes with chiefs of police associations and things like that, because our work resonates, or our work transcends that political divide, right? So we're not afraid to go and talk to folks like that. We're not afraid to say, hey, would you be interested in hearing what we have to say? Because 9 times out of 10, they are, after we have that conversation. So and those are some of the toughest audiences to be at, right? It's like being a comedian on the stage, right? And you tell a joke and you're just waiting to see if the audience is going to laugh or going to react to you. So we've been at some of those conferences and we say something, we're just waiting for them to react. And then it's like, you're like, oh, okay, I got you. And then, you've kind of won those hearts and minds.
Man, the mute button on my microphone is just touchy. So every once in a while I'm muted and then I keep clicking it and it won't unmute myself.
I got it.
Oh, man. So one last question before we wrap up. I'm curious, what does kind of the phrase and idea of "you are the power" mean to you? I've heard it from Spike 100 times, but as somebody that kind of came in after it was already an organization,
Sure.
What does the idea of "you are the power" mean?
For me, I'll give you just a holistic approach, or an approach from just my perspective, not as You're the Powers Director of Operations, but as Ryan Ralston, who has been involved with You're the Power. It is principled advocacy first and foremost, and then secondly, it's the creation of bonds that over time become unbreakable. Our clients become our family. Right. Mm-hmm. If you're talking about Child Protective Services, we adopt the children that have been taken from their parents. I mean, I not only have I had these conversations, but team members have the conversations with these families, and it's not uncommon for us to say things like, your cause is now our cause, your fight is now our fight, your children are now our children, and we're not going to leave you until you are reunited whole as a family. Like, these conversations take place. And so it's that spark of hope that the organization gives to individuals who have been silent or silenced by the government for years. A lot of these cases, David, and a lot of these families or these individuals that have been harmed have been just screaming and shouting from the rooftops for years, please help me, please help me. This is what the government's done to me. And then when we show up, it's that spark of hope, right? It's just that, hey, they listen to me, they connected with me, they understand what needs to be done, and they're going to do it. And to me, David, there's no greater compliment than when a client says, here's my life, be my voice, right? We're not riding in, knights in shining armor on white horses or anything like that. I mean, we meet them where they're at. We have just conversations with our clients. We vet these cases, but we connect on a human level. And that's just something that I consistently remind the team of, is that, we need to shift the notion, or shift the idea that the government can label somebody a defendant or a suspect or an abuser or, an offender. And let's talk to them like they're a human being, right? So never in our social media post or in our work do you hear us refer to as like, defendant so-and-so or so-and-so, was accused of this. And it's always like we give first names and last names and we personalize it. And so I think that's what You Are the Power means to me. It's that personal touch of advocacy, but it's that level of respect that we give our clients that I think otherwise, if we would not have gotten involved with their case, they would not get.
Yeah. I like that. I've obviously loved the organization since its infancy, and it's been something I've really enjoyed getting to watch grow. And I come from myself personally, and then a lot of my friends are very entrepreneurial type people. And we get a lot of those in the movement too. So I've seen a lot of organizations and companies start, like a lot, right? And I've obviously had a lot more hope in this one than the average one, but I still, didn't have too much at the beginning because, it's another libertarian-ish organization and another entrepreneur friend of mine trying to start something. Spike's got a better track record than most of my friends, and You Are the Power is obviously killing it better than anything I've been able to be a part of prior. And getting to, I went home for the holidays, and one of the first things I got asked about when I was actually hanging out with my extended family was like, oh, what's that Spike dude been doing?
Yeah.
Because they know that's the thing I talk about, no matter what the job that I'm on or, what other campaigns or whatever, because this, like we're talking, this is the thing that doesn't cause a problem at Thanksgiving dinner. No. It doesn't blow up a date or, anything. It just, we help people when the government is being assholes. Yeah. And it's something that's just been able to resonate with again, every person that I've been able to talk to about it. And it's so awesome getting to watch it grow. And I cannot thank you enough for the work that you do, making that a thing. So thank you again for being part of that.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely blessed to be able to do this, man. It's the best job in the world.
Well, before I let you go, tell people how they can find out more about the organization, how they can join, and how they can get a hold of you if they need to, and what they should do.
Absolutely. So if you want to know a little bit more about us, head to youarethepower.net. Check out our website out. And there's going to be some areas where you can connect with us, whether it's through ask some questions. You can send a request in to ask questions. We will respond to you personally. If you need help, you can go to youarethepower.net/help. Fill out a short form. A member of the team will be in contact with you soon, I assure you. If you want to get in contact with me personally, I'll be glad to accept emails. Everybody in the organization that joins, I provide my personal cell phone number. So if I send an email out to a member saying, "Hey, welcome to the team," I give them my personal cell phone number. Say, if you ever need anything, give me a call. So you can always reach me at ryan.ralston, RALSTON, @youarethepower.net. And I'll be glad to give you a call. As a matter of fact, I'm of the age where I prefer phone calls over like text messages and emails. So I will likely give you a call if that's okay with you. And then another thing too is if you want to know a little bit more about us, we can schedule a meeting. Like I'll absolutely schedule a meeting. We'll set up a Zoom meeting, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Hell yeah, guys! Definitely go to youarethepower.net. That link is in the description on all of the platforms that we're on tonight. Some of them don't usually have a description. So go check them out. If you're not a member already, go join. It's the best organization you can be a part of. It's the best dinner table conversation that you'll get to have. You get to make everybody happy at once, even crazy uncle and the snobby aunt at the same time. It'll be great. And definitely check out what Ryan's been doing in Spike and the whole team. They have so many awesome people. Myra, Victoria, like just Sierra, Brian, everybody else on the team is
everybody
awesome.
Yeah.
And then come on back here next week. We've got Jacob Winograd coming on from the Libertarian Christian Institute. We're going to talk about what he's been up to over there. Brian, again, thanks so much for coming on. This was great.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and we are going to close out with my favorite, the OG You Are the Power ad to close out.
Nice.
We have been scammed. We have been robbed, not just of our money, but of our freedom and of our power. It was taken by a small handful of narcissistic psychopaths. And it's time to take it back. But we've got to turn the power back on. We do best when we are most free. It's time to fight for that freedom. It's time to end the lesser evil scam. It's time to beat these monsters at their own rigged game. In the past 2 years, I've been blessed to travel across America, meet tens of thousands of incredible people, feed the less fortunate, hold corrupt governments accountable, train candidates and activists, and work with anyone who's willing to fight. And at every turn, I heard the same thing over and over. They're worried about COVID-19, the mandates, healthcare, housing, education, the future that they're leaving behind for their children. They were worried because things just keep getting worse. But when I met them where they were, showed them we cared, and explained to them the causes, effects, and solutions to get us out of this mess, I saw something change in their eyes. I saw hope. We have the solutions. We just need to live them out and invite everyone else to join. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be leaders and solve problems in our communities. We're going to make headlines and get the kind of attention that spreads our message. We're going to build a culture of winning, getting candidates elected like never before. We're going to empower our neighbors to join us in this fight. We're going to win the public debate and change the culture. We're going to awaken the sleeping giant. We are going to set the world free. When we realize our power, no one can stop us. 2 years ago, this journey began. The next step begins right now with you. I'm Spike Cohen, you are the power, and together, we're about to change everything.